You ever get that gut feeling like you're being played, but everyone around you tells you you're just being paranoid? Yeah, that was me a year ago. A year ago, if you'd asked me how things were going with Harper, I'd have said solid. I mean, sure, we had our quirks. She was way more extroverted. I liked quiet weekends. But we co-founded a tech startup together, lived in a decent loft in Austin, and had those late-night ramen talks about taking the company public someday. We weren't perfect, but we were ride or die. Or so I thought. Then last fall, shit started feeling off. You know those little things that aren't technically proof, but they keep stacking up until you can't unsee it. It started with her phone. Dumb, I know. But Harper used to leave her phone face up everywhere. Bathroom, sink, kitchen counter, didn't care. Suddenly, she's keeping it glued to her hand like it was her damn oxygen supply, even while brushing her teeth. I joked, "What, you running CIA missions now?" She laughed, shrugged, said work was just crazy. I let it go. But then the password showed up. Overnight. She'd never locked her phone before. So I asked lightly, "Since when are we worried about Russian hackers?" She smiled and said something about sensitive client info. Okay, sure. I wanted to believe her. But that voice in my head, you know, the one that doesn't shut up when something's wrong, it was buzzing loud. Then she started taking calls in the bedroom, always with the door closed. Her tone was hushed serious, not flirty, but intense. The kind of intense that says this conversation is bigger than you think. One afternoon, she left her laptop open. Slack was up. I didn't touch anything, I swear, but I saw a message flash from someone named Jake. "Everything's moving along. Stay calm." That was it. But I swear to God, my stomach did this weird twist like someone pulled a plug. I didn't say anything. Not yet. Then came the coffee day. 2 months ago, she told me she was grabbing coffee with her old colleague from the marketing team. I said, cool. I happened to be near the cafe later that day, picking up cables from Micro Center. I figured, what the hell, I'll surprise her. Worst idea. She wasn't with any colleague. She was pacing outside on the sidewalk, phone to her ear, talking fast. I parked across the street and watched her from my car. I didn't want to spy, but the way she was walking back and forth, her hands moving, it looked like someone making moves, not catching up with an old work friend. I rolled down the window a little, caught a few lines. "We're almost there, just need it clean on paper." What the fuck does that mean? When she got home, I played dumb. "Hey, how was coffee?" "Oh, you know, Tori's still going through that divorce." I just listened for an hour. She even fake laughed like it drained her. I nodded, said nothing. But I was screaming inside. That wasn't coffee talk. That was logistics talk, like she was planning a deal. And that was when I started paying attention. I mean, really paying attention. 2 weeks later, she brought up our finances. Random night. We were eating takeout on the couch, Korean BBQ from that spot on 6th, and she goes, "Babe, don't you think we should, organize everything just in case something ever happens?" I blinked. Everything like accounts, passwords, access to the company IP folders, house deed, you know, the serious stuff. She said it super casual, like she was suggesting we try oat milk again. I smiled. Why now? I don't know. Just feels like the adult thing to do. Nah, screw that. Something clicked right then. This wasn't her being responsible. This was her prepping for something. No one casually wants access to everything unless they're about to make a move. And let me be clear, I had nothing to hide. The accounts were all transparent. The equity splits were standard 60/40th since I brought in the first round of funding. But the timing was weird. She'd never cared about that stuff before. I said I'd think about it. But what I did next, I called my friend Dean. Dean's a corporate lawyer, sharp as hell. Helped us file our Series A paperwork back in the day. I gave him the short version. Hey, hypothetically, if I wanted to protect my stake in a startup from someone, how would I do it? There was a pause. Elijah, what's going on? I told him just enough. No names, but Dean got it. You need to create a trust. Now. And move your personal equity and IP shares into it, legally airtight. Do it before anything happens. So I did, quietly. 3 days later, Harper asked again. She was leaning against the kitchen counter, sipping wine, scrolling her phone. "So, did you think about the financial stuff?" I looked her dead in the eyes. "Yeah, I think we're in a good place. Everything's safe." She smiled, like that's exactly what she wanted to hear. Except I didn't mean safe for her. I meant safe from her. I spent the next 2 weeks transferring every major asset I had into that trust. Not just the shares, the patents we'd filed, the domain registrations, the office lease, which I'd signed solo. Everything went under a family trust, managed by my mom, who's basically a human vault. Dean helped me line it up perfectly. Not shady, just smart. Harper had no idea. She was floating around the loft, singing along to Halsey, asking if we should do another Mexico trip in the fall. I played along, ordered takeout, watched Netflix with her, didn't flinch once. But inside I was boiling. Then last week, boom. Friday night. She pours us wine, sits me down on the couch, turns off the TV. We need to talk. Here it comes. I've been thinking about us, and I think I need space, like real space. I want a divorce. Just like that, like she was telling me we ran out of almond milk. No tears, no drama, just stone-cold delivery. I stared at her, took a breath. She kept going. I've made a lot of sacrifices. For us, for the company, and honestly, I need to start over. Somewhere I'm appreciated. That word, appreciated. I wanted to laugh. You want to be appreciated. Then don't plot behind someone's back and pretend you're in this together. But I didn't say that. I just said, okay, what happens next? And the flicker in her eyes, she wasn't ready for that. She expected a fight, begging, confusion, maybe guilt. She got silence. Because I was already 10 steps ahead. That Monday, she sent the papers. PDF. Email subject line, next steps. I swear I opened that file with the same calm I'd use checking a lunch menu. I already knew what I'd find. But damn, she really went for it. She wanted half the condo, half my savings, half the company stock, the ones in my name, the car, plus some vague line about ongoing spousal support. I sat there in my home office staring at it. My name next to bullshit demands. My blood didn't boil. It froze. Because this wasn't just a breakup, this was strategy. This was someone who had been planning while pretending to love me. The same person who used to wear my hoodie talk about baby names. Now, she was coming for my life like it was an Amazon return policy. So I called Dean. He didn't even flinch. You ready? Been ready. We filed our response 2 days later. Calm, cold, clean. Dean added one line to the top of the counter document. Please see attached record of pre-divorce asset protection trust formation dated and notarized. We included the legal paperwork, the trust documents, the transfer trail. Every single piece stamped, filed, notarized weeks before she served me. Everything she thought she could grab gone. Locked, untouchable. I didn't hear from her for 3 days. Then the text came. Can we talk, please? Nah, too late. I ignored it. Dean told me not to engage. No text, no call, no, hey, let's be civil. She made her move. Now I was living mine. That Friday mediation day rolled around. We sat across from each other in this bland office that smelled like printer paper and fake lemon sanitizer. Her lawyer looked like a discount TV dad already annoyed his Starbucks order was wrong. Harper. She looked calm, like she thought she was walking into a slam dunk. She didn't even look at me. Her lawyer started the spiel. Our client is seeking a fair division of assets given the duration of the marriage and the shared business interests. Dean held up a hand. I think it'll save time if we begin here, he said, sliding a packet across the table. Her lawyer grabbed it, started flipping through. First casual, then not. His eyebrows dropped. His fingers stopped turning pages. Wait, this was filed when... Dean leaned back in his chair, smooth as fuck. 3 weeks before your client initiated proceedings. Irrevocable. Fully legal. Notarized. Trust was assigned to my client's mother with all assets transferred voluntarily. The silence. Glorious. Her lawyer turned to her eyes sharp now. Did you know about this? Harper grabbed the packet, skimmed. Her face turned pale, then red. This isn't valid. He did this on purpose. Dean cut in calm as hell. Yes, he protected himself. After noticing suspicious behavior and unusual requests regarding joint assets, all well within his legal rights. Her voice dropped into a hiss. You planned this? I didn't say a word, just looked at her. Not with hate, not even anger. Just done. Like a switch flipped, like watching a mask fall off and realizing you don't even know the face underneath. She didn't yell, but you could feel it bubbling. Her lawyer whispered something. She nodded tightly. tried to reset her expression like nothing had happened. They asked for a recess. Dean and I walked out. Didn't even stop for coffee. Just silence in the elevator. At the ground floor, he clapped me on the back. You did good. I didn't feel good. I felt hollow. This wasn't a win. Not really. It was survival. A quiet, brutal kind of defense you don't celebrate, you just endure. That night she texted again. This got out of hand. Can we talk without the lawyers? No. You don't drop a nuclear bomb and then ask for a hug. You don't try to take everything someone built then backpedal when you realize they built walls too. Over the next few days, the texts kept coming. They started soft apologies, half excuses, then flipped. I just wanted what I deserved. You're being cruel. You made me do this. I blocked her. She called from another number. Voicemail. Sobbing. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. It wasn't supposed to go like this. What was it supposed to be? Me rolling over? Me handing over the company I bled for? Screw that! You don't get to play house, then flip the board when it suits you. And then, the story started. Mutual friends, people I hadn't heard from in months, started sending me screenshots. Her Facebook carefully curated heartbreak posts, stuff like, some people show you who they are when money's involved. Betrayal hurts worse when it comes from someone you built dreams with. Unreal. She was spinning it like I betrayed her. Some people bought it. Others didn't. Matt, a mutual friend from back in our college startup days, messaged me late one night. Bro, just saw Harper's post. You good? I told him the short version. He went quiet for a sec, then hit me back with a bombshell. You know, she's been seeing someone, right? Some dude named Jake. Met him at that pitch event in Miami. Word is, he's been whispering in her ear for months. Jake. No fucking way. I knew the name. He was one of the angel investors who sniffed around our seed round, the one I passed on, because something about him felt slimy. Matt sent me a screenshot. Jake. Commenting on her Instagram 3 weeks ago. Proud of you. You deserve the world. The world. I laughed. Laughed so hard I scared my dog. This was her plan. She thought she'd clean me out, walk away with the company, and skip town with a smug-ass investor boyfriend. Too bad she forgot one thing: I don't bluff. I'm not the guy who folds under pressure. And she didn't know I never stopped watching after that day at the cafe. I pulled out the Slack backups, reviewed her permissions, checked every data pull, found evidence of file exports on days she claimed she was at yoga. Got timestamps, IP logs, even a few lines of her and Jake messaging through shared docs. Not just betrayal. This was coordinated theft. I printed everything, labeled it, had Dean review it. And then we filed a cease and desist. Sent it straight to Jake's consulting firm and to Harper's inbox. The subject line: violation of IP clauses, formal notice enclosed. I don't think she saw that coming. The next day, I woke up to 17 missed calls. 3 voicemails. All her. You're going to ruin me. We can talk this out. You don't have to do this. I messed up, okay. I thought you'd never notice. But I did. And now, so did everyone else. Because Matt, he shared the texts, quietly, selectively. Enough people saw. Enough people realized who she really was. And just like that, the sympathy dried up. Suddenly, she wasn't the heartbroken co-founder. She was the one who tried to burn down the company for a payout. And Jake, gone. Deleted his comments, unfollowed her, ghosted her harder than I did. The silence from her side now, chef's kiss. But you know what? It didn't feel like revenge. It felt like air returning to my lungs. Peace. For the first time in a long time. 2 weeks after that cease and desist, things went quiet. Too quiet. No more texts, no emails, no mutual friends asking questions, no cryptic posts or healing journey stories on her socials. Just radio silence. At first, I didn't trust it. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. For some lawyer to call with new demands or a bullshit apology letter trying to get back in. But then I started hearing things. Emily, one of Harper's oldest friends, texted me out of nowhere. Hey, I know things are messy, but I didn't know how messy until now. She didn't say more, but she didn't have to. People were talking. The screenshots Matt leaked. They'd made their way into our old friend groups, found their way into DMs and private Slack circles. The narrative she'd worked so hard to control cracked like a frozen windshield. Turns out some people aren't cool with calculated betrayal disguised as a self-love journey. A few nights later, Lisa, one of Harper's ride or dies, unfollowed her on everything. She even liked a photo of mine. Just a shot of me and my dog at the lake. No caption, no hashtags. But the message loud. I didn't gloat. I didn't comment. I just felt still. Like after months of knots in my chest, I could finally sit down and breathe. Harper, though she was spiraling. How do I know? She started calling my mom. Not kidding. Left a voicemail on her landline like it was 2005, sobbing and saying she just wanted to explain. Mom didn't return it. She sent me the audio. Please, I just want to talk to him. I know I fucked up. I didn't think it would go like this. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. But then I remembered sitting across from her while she calmly tried to take everything I built. Remembered how fake her smile was during those conversations. Remembered her saying I deserve more. More of what exactly? The sweat equity I put in while she was networking at wine bars. The patents I wrote while she was on FaceTime with Jake. Nah, you don't deserve what you didn't earn. And guess what? She didn't. Because when the dust settled after the trust, after the legal filings, after the digital receipts hit inboxes and group chats, she was left with exactly what she brought in. Her personal items, her clothes, some notebooks, a tote bag from our first SW together. She moved out quietly. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't leave a note. Didn't even take the toothbrush. I came home one night and she was just gone. Honestly, it was cleaner than I expected. The condo quiet again. No more passive-aggressive playlists in the background. No more, oh, I'll do it later dishes. No more weird phone calls in the hallway pretending I couldn't hear. Just me. And for the first time, that was enough. I changed the locks the next morning. Didn't even hesitate. Matt came over that weekend with a six-pack and a speaker. We grilled on the patio and didn't talk about her. Just music, old college stories, and dumb startup jokes that used to make us feel alive. I think he could tell I wasn't angry anymore. Just clear. That Monday, the final settlement came in. Nothing contested, no dramatic revisions, no last-ditch demands. Her lawyer sent a one-line email. Our client accepts the terms and wishes to move on. Good. I printed the email, filed it, then deleted every thread from her, every shared Google Drive folder, every co-authored doc. Felt like clearing cobwebs out of my life. It was weird, though. After all that tension and build-up, it ended not with a bang, but a sigh. You'd think I'd be thrilled, right? But honestly, I was just tired. Tired of pretending I hadn't seen it coming. Tired of telling myself she was just stressed or just figuring stuff out. Tired of bending over backwards for someone who had one foot out the door and the other on the gas. So I did what I never thought I'd do. I opened the photo app on my phone. Scrolled through 2 years of memories, the fake smiles, the vacation selfies, the little inside jokes that now felt like bad improv. And I deleted them. Not all at once, just one at a time. Tap, trash, gone. Like closing tabs in my brain I didn't need open anymore. After that, I took a walk. No headphones, no agenda, just air. It hit me somewhere around the corner of 4th and Congress, that low-key little bookstore we used to duck into on Sundays. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't plotting. I wasn't hurting. I was free. It's wild how long it takes to feel that. Freedom doesn't show up like fireworks. It shows up in little things. Waking up and not checking your phone for drama. Opening the fridge and knowing everything inside is yours. Sitting in silence without wondering what lie is coming next. And I'll tell you something else. I started building again. Not just the company, although yeah, that's coming too. I started sketching again. Dumb ideas, new app concepts, UI mock-ups no one will ever see. I reclaimed the garage as my messy lab, bought a whiteboard, started scribbling. And the best part? No one's trying to download the file behind my back this time. A month later, I got an email from a VC firm we'd pitched to early on, back when Harper was still pretending we were co-dreamers. They'd heard about what happened. Word is, you cleaned house. Impressive move. They wanted to schedule a meeting. Said they liked the grit. I didn't even reply right away. Took a few days to just exist in the stillness. Because I wasn't chasing anything anymore. I was choosing. I'd rather build slow and clean than fast and fake. Harper, last I heard, she moved to Denver. Tried to start some personal branding consultancy. One of her old interns DM'd me. Apparently it's not going great. Honestly, not my problem. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I just don't care. And that, I think, is the best part of all of this. She tried to wreck me, tried to rob me, gaslight me, walk away with my name on her suitcase. But in the end, I'm still here, still building, still breathing, still me. And she's just gone, exactly where she belongs. About a month after everything was finalized, I stopped waking up with that weird chest tightness. You know the feeling. That half second before your eyes open when your brain is like, hey, remember your life's a mess. Yeah, that was gone. I started waking up normal. Took my dog out, made coffee, didn't feel like I was walking through someone else's house. The condo didn't feel haunted anymore. And that was wild because it used to feel like a fucking graveyard of memories. Everything reminded me of her. The chipped mug she always used. The plant she said she'd take next week but never came back for. Even the weird-ass blue rug she insisted on that I hated from day one, still in the living room, stubborn as ever. I rolled that rug up one morning, tossed it in the donation pile, and felt like I'd removed an emotional tumor from the floor. Progress. But the biggest shift? I started letting people back in. Not romantically. Hell no, I'm not a masochist. But friends. Family, people who'd been walking on eggshells for months because they didn't know what version of me they'd get. I met up with my brother for beers. He asked me straight up, "How the hell are you still standing?" I laughed. Spite and strong coffee. But real talk, I think I was just done breaking. There's a point where your heart gets tired of cracking and just glues itself back together with whatever's nearby. Duct tape, bitterness, sarcasm. Peace if you're lucky. And I was lucky because I had people. Matt showed up every Saturday with some new weird IPA and a playlist. My mom started sending me recipes like she thought I might turn into a functioning adult. Even Lisa, who was close with Harper, once reached out just to say, "You didn't deserve that shit." I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I told her it wasn't her job to see it. Hell, it wasn't even mine until it was too late. One day, I got this text from Dean, my lawyer/unofficial therapist. "You should do something with your story. People need to hear it." I laughed at first. Who the hell wants to hear from the guy who got blindsided, betrayed, and ghosted but somehow didn't set anyone's car on fire? But he wasn't wrong, because something shifted in me. Not in a dramatic eat, pray, love kind of way, just in the way I saw bullshit now. Clearer, faster. A few weeks later, I got invited to this small tech founders roundtable. Nothing huge, just a local thing with 12 other startup people in a co-working space downtown. I wasn't gonna go. But Matt basically shoved me into an Uber and said, "Go show them you're still standing." So I went. And honestly, it was chill. Just people. Talking about burnouts, bad partnerships, code crashes, and failed pivots. No suits, no fake hype, just scars and caffeine. When it was my turn to share, I kept it simple. Built something with someone I trusted. They tried to take it. I protected it. Still building. No drama, no details. But the nods around the room told me I wasn't alone. Afterward, this woman Ava ran a sustainability-focused app came up to me. Hey, that was honest, refreshing. You'd be shocked how many people don't survive co-founder fallouts. I just smiled. Yeah, it's like a silent epidemic. We chatted for 20 minutes. Swapped founder horror stories. She told me hers involved a friend who drained their company card buying NFTs. So yeah, I wasn't the only one with war wounds. She asked if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. Purely networking. I said sure. No expectations. Just real humans trying to stay real in a world that rewards the opposite. That became a theme in my life. Small, honest moments with people who didn't want anything from me but conversation. No motives, no masks. One night sitting on the patio, I caught myself smiling for no reason. Not because I won anything, not because I was thriving or whatever. Just peace. You don't realize how rare it is until you have to rebuild it from rubble. Around that time, I reworked the company's mission. Quietly. Didn't make a huge announcement, didn't post a Medium article or LinkedIn manifesto. I just started building tools for founders like me, ones who got burned blindsided or outmaneuvered by people they trusted. I called it founder-proof. A dumb pun at first, but it stuck. The idea was simple software that helps you track, protect, and control your company IP and equity without needing to be paranoid or hiring 10 lawyers. Basically, peace of mind as a product. Within 2 months, I had a working prototype. Ava beta tested it, gave killer feedback. Matt helped me with user testing and roasted my UI like Gordon Ramsay. Even Dean got involved, threw in some legal compliance features that turned out to be gold. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't viral, but it was real, built from pain, for people like me. And that felt like healing, not the Instagram kind, the slow, earned, quiet kind. I started running again, just short bursts, not to get fit, just to move. Cleared my head, made space for ideas. And one night, halfway through a loop around Lady Bird Lake, I stopped, looked at the skyline, and realized I didn't hate Austin anymore. For a while, I resented this city. Every corner had a memory. Every bar reminded me of a fake smile. Every street felt like a rerun. But standing there, sweat in my eyes, hands on my knees, it felt mine again, like I'd reclaimed it. And I didn't even need a speech or a post or a breakup playlist to do it. I just lived through it. It's weird, isn't it? How survival can look so damn ordinary. Waking up, working, laughing again. Not because you're over it, but because you're finally under it. As in, it's behind you, not above you, not crushing you. Just done. Sometimes I think back to those early red flags. The phone turned face down. The just a friend texts. The sketchy timing of her financial questions. And I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't noticed. If I hadn't called Dean. If I'd trusted her just a little longer. But that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't knock. It slithers. And if you're not watching, if you're too in love, too loyal, too hopeful, you don't see it until you're bleeding. So, yeah, I saw it just in time. And no, I don't think that makes me smart or strong. Just lucky. Lucky that I'd failed enough times in life to know when something felt off. Lucky that I listened to my gut before it got muzzled. And lucky that I had people, real ones, who held me up when I couldn't do it alone. I don't hate Harper. Not anymore. That would take energy I don't have. What I feel is distance. She's a blurry figure in the rearview mirror. A story I'll tell when I'm 50 and drinking whiskey on a porch somewhere. I'll laugh. Not because it was funny, but because I made it through. And now, I'm building again. Quietly. Deliberately. For me. Not for validation. Not to prove a point. Not to post it. Just because I can. And that's the win no one can ever take. 3 months out, and the weirdest part? You stop flinching at silence. You stop filling every quiet second with noise or distraction or someone else's voice. I used to wake up and immediately turn on music, podcasts, YouTube, anything to drown out my own head. But now I could drink my coffee and just be. No Harper waiting in the kitchen, no fake laughter echoing off the tile. Just me, my dog, and whatever song the wind made through the window screen. People kept asking, "Are you dating again?" Like that's some sort of mile marker. As if moving on means swiping on strangers and pretending to care about their weekend trip to Marfa. Nah, I wasn't interested. Not because I was bitter. But because I'd just rebuilt my house, why the hell would I invite someone in while the paint's still wet? That's the part people don't talk about enough. Rebuilding trust in yourself takes way longer than forgiving someone else. You gotta rewire everything. The way you double-check your instincts. The second guessing of whether you're being paranoid or perceptive. The guilt over not catching the red flags sooner. I spent weeks fighting this voice in my head that said, "How'd you let her get that close?" But eventually another voice showed up. Quieter, kinder. Because you're human. You loved someone. You believed in them. You didn't fail, they did. And I think that realization was more healing than any therapy session. Don't get me wrong, I still had moments. Still caught myself looking at old notes we wrote on napkins, dumb idea sketches from our early days, her handwriting on Post-its stuck to the fridge. But it didn't sting anymore. It just existed, like an old scar. Still there, still real, but no longer bleeding. Work helped. Founder proof was growing slowly but surely. Not viral, not flashy, but steady. And the best part? Every client we signed, every founder who hit us up saying, "Dude, I wish I had this last year," it felt like justice. Not revenge. Just balance. Harper never reached out again. After the cease and desist, after the mutuals went silent, after Jake ghosted her, and her brand fizzled out, she vanished. I heard she tried pitching another startup. Didn't get funding. Word spreads fast in tech, especially when you're known for biting the hand that wrote the code. Part of me hoped she'd land on her feet. Not for her. Foreclosure. It's easier to let go when you know someone isn't still clinging to your name like a life raft. But truth. I don't think about her much anymore. The mental real estate she used to occupy, I renovated it. Planted some new things. Things that didn't lie or drain me or try to rewrite the past with prettier filters. I started journaling again. Not the Dear Diary kind. Just messy, uncensored brain dumps at 2 a.m. when my thoughts ran too fast for my mouth. Stuff like, you did everything right and it still fell apart. That doesn't make you wrong, that makes you real. Or, you're allowed to trust again, just not with your eyes closed. Writing became therapy. Not to publish, not for applause. Just to exhale. Sometimes I wrote letters I never sent. To her, to Jake, to myself. Letters that ended with, I hope you find peace, just not at my expense. That one hit hard. One night I ran into someone from the old team, the dev lead we hired back when everything was growing fast and fun. He saw me at a bar downtown and did that awkward hey man thing people do when they don't know what version of you they're gonna get. I waved him over, bought him a drink. We caught up. He looked around, leaned in and said, you know, for what it's worth, everyone knew something was off. We just didn't know how to say it. I nodded. Yeah, me neither. But you're better now, he said. Not a question, a statement. I smiled. Not in a fake way, not in a polite way. In a, yeah, I am kind of way. Because I was. Better didn't mean perfect. Didn't mean healed or whole or ready to host a TED Talk. It just meant I could sit in my own life without wanting to run. That's enough. A few days later, I deleted our old shared Dropbox. The one we used for pitch decks, designs, early code. I stared at it for like 10 minutes. Hovered over the delete button. Felt like pulling the plug on a ghost. But eventually I just hit it. Poof. Gone. I didn't cry. Didn't feel some big rush of emotion. Just a clean breath. Like unclogging a drain. It's wild how cluttered your world gets with things you don't even notice you're carrying. Old files. Old dreams. Old versions of yourself trying to make broken things work. And when you finally let them go. Space. I filled that space with better things. New books. New conversations. New music, not the kind we used to argue over. Just sounds that made the air feel lighter. And slowly I started to recognize myself again. Not the pre-Harper me, that guy's gone, he should be. But a new version. One that doesn't chase approval. One that doesn't explain his boundaries. One that doesn't apologize for building walls after someone tried to burn his house down. I wasn't cold, just clear. One night I was on a video call with Ava, the founder I met at the round table, and she asked, if you could go back, would you do anything different? I didn't even think. No, because if I'd done it different, I wouldn't be here. And where is here? I looked around. My dog asleep on the rug, not the blue one. A whiteboard full of sketches behind me. No noise, no lies, just me. Exactly where I'm supposed to be. She smiled. And I meant it. Here wasn't perfect. Here wasn't easy. But here was honest. And after everything I'd been through, that was the only thing I wanted.